Welcome to Echoes of Hollywood. For many of us, these legendary faces belong to another time. Saturday nights at the movies, family evenings around the television, and performances we never truly forgot. But while we were watching them become icons, their children were growing up behind those famous names. Some quietly followed, some chose different roads, and a remarkable few became even bigger stars. Today, we revisit two generations and ask one irresistible question: who truly owned the brighter spotlight? Robert Downey Sr. earned cult admiration as an unconventional filmmaker whose rebellious vision stood far outside traditional Hollywood. His youngest child, Robert Downey Jr., carried the family name to astonishing heights. Now 61, the Oscar-winning star of Iron Man and Oppenheimer became a global phenomenon. In this family, there is little doubt which generation ultimately commanded the bigger spotlight. Allison Downey, Robert Downey Sr.'s eldest child, entered the creative world long before her younger brother became a worldwide superstar. Now 62, she has worked as an actress and writer, with credits including up the Academy and Funny Valentine. Her career remained far more understated than her father's filmmaking reputation, revealing how differently fame can unfold even within the same Hollywood family. Jack Nicholson became one of cinema's defining figures, his rebellious charisma and extraordinary performances making him unforgettable across generations. His second child, Caleb Goddard, chose a quieter, creative life as a producer and writer. Now 55, Caleb has largely remained beyond Hollywood's brightest spotlight. Here, the comparison feels remarkably clear. The father's legendary fame still towers over his son's deliberately understated career. Lorraine Nicholson, Jack Nicholson's fourth child, grew up beneath one of the most formidable reputations in Hollywood history. Now 36, she has explored acting, directing, and screenwriting, appearing in Soul Surfer while increasingly developing her voice behind the camera. Rather than competing with her father's monumental stardom, Lorraine seems more interested in creating meaningful stories on her own creative terms. Ray Nicholson, Jack Nicholson's fifth child, may offer the family's most fascinating screen comparison. Now 34, his performances in Smile 2 and Novocaine have drawn growing attention, while his expressions can strikingly recall his famous father. Yet Jack's shadow remains enormous. Ray's story is still unfolding, and whether that familiar Nicholson magnetism can someday become comparable stardom remains an intriguing question. Lloyd Bridges became a familiar face of classic American film and television, laying the foundation for one of Hollywood's great acting families. His third child, Jeff Bridges, carried that name to remarkable heights. Now 76, the Oscar-winning star of Crazy Heart and The Big Lebowski achieved an iconic status that arguably made him the most celebrated Bridges of all. Beau Bridges, Lloyd Bridges' eldest child, entered acting young and built an impressive career spanning more than 7 decades. Now 84, the acclaimed actor and director is remembered for works including The Fabulous Baker Boys and The Descendants. While Jeff may have achieved greater movie stardom, Beau's extraordinary longevity proves that the Bridges family produced not one successor, but 2 enduring Hollywood talents. Tony Curtis embodied the glamour of old Hollywood, his charm and striking looks making him one of the most recognizable leading men of his generation. His second child, Jamie Lee Curtis, created an equally remarkable story. Now 67, the Halloween icon and Oscar winner has remained relevant across decades. Choosing the bigger Curtis star may depend entirely on which Hollywood era you remember best. Bill Pullman became a beloved screen presence through his understated charm and memorable performances, particularly as America's heroic president in Independence Day. His second child, Jack Pullman, chose artistry away from the camera. Now in his mid-30s, Jack works in puppetry and mask design, including with Rogue Artists Ensemble, a quieter creative path where success is measured by craftsmanship rather than celebrity. Lewis Pullman, Bill Pullman's youngest child, chose the screen and has quickly emerged as the family's rising Hollywood name. Now 33, performances in Top Gun, Maverick and Thunderbolts have introduced him to enormous new audiences. His father still holds decades of beloved memories, but Lewis has something Bill once had too, the excitement of a career whose biggest chapters may still lie ahead. Al Pacino became one of cinema's towering figures, his explosive intensity and unforgettable performances defining classics like The Godfather and Scarface. His eldest child, Julie Marie Pacino, chose filmmaking rather than acting. Now 36, she works as a director, producer, and screenwriter, with I Live Here Now marking another step toward an identity built behind the camera, far from her father's legendary spotlight. John Aniston earned lasting respect through decades of television, becoming especially beloved as Victor Kiriakis on Days of Our Lives. His eldest child, Jennifer Aniston, took the family name to an entirely different level. Now 57, the Friends and Marley and Me star became a global household name, one of those rare Hollywood stories where the child ultimately eclipsed an already accomplished parent in worldwide fame. Stellan Skarsgård built a remarkable international career by moving effortlessly between European dramas and Hollywood blockbusters. His eldest child, Alexander Skarsgård, inherited that acting instinct and developed a magnetic presence distinctly his own. Now 49, the True Blood and Big Little Lies star has achieved worldwide recognition. Father or son? For different generations of viewers, the answer may not be nearly as obvious as expected. Bill Skarsgård, Stellan Skarsgård's fourth child, took the family talent somewhere darker and far more unsettling. Now 36, his terrifying Pennywise in it made him internationally recognizable, while Nosferatu reinforced his gift for disappearing into disturbing characters. Stellan possesses the longer, broader career, but Bill has created images audiences may never forget, making this father-son comparison increasingly fascinating. Tom Hanks became one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, his warmth and sincerity turning countless films into memories shared across generations. His youngest child, Truman Hanks, chose a quieter route through acting and cinematography. Now 30, with credits including A Man Called Otto and Asteroid City, Truman is still finding his place, while his father's extraordinary worldwide fame remains a mountain few performers could ever climb. Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' eldest child, entered acting knowing comparisons with one of cinema's most beloved leading men were inevitable. Now 48, he has built a respected career through Orange County, Fargo, and directing work of his own. Tom remains unquestionably the bigger star, yet Colin's longevity reveals something equally admirable. He has succeeded for decades without trying to become another version of his father. Chet Hanks, Tom Hanks' third child, followed perhaps the family's most unconventional road, moving between acting and music while developing a public identity very different from his father's. Now 36, his credits include Empire and Your Honor. He may never rival Tom's cherished Hollywood stature, but Chet's journey proves that even beneath a legendary surname, every child writes a very different story. John Ritter could make audiences laugh with little more than a glance, becoming one of television's most cherished comedy stars through Three's Company and his unmistakable warmth. His eldest child, Jason Ritter, inherited that rare likability while building a gentler screen identity of his own. Now 46, Jason has earned lasting affection through Parenthood and Gravity Falls, But for older viewers, John's unforgettable comic magic remains difficult to surpass. Damon Wayans became a defining voice of American comedy, winning audiences with fearless humor, sharp timing, and unforgettable characters across television and film. His third child, Carradine Wayans, also entered the creative world through acting and writing. Now 39, with appearances in My Wife and Kids and dance flick, she has chosen a quieter career, leaving her father firmly the bigger star in this family comparison. Damon Wayans Jr., Damon Wayans' eldest child, inherited something audiences recognized almost immediately: effortless comic timing. Now 43, standout roles in New Girl and Happy Endings have given him a loyal following entirely his own. His father helped shape a generation of comedy, yet the younger Damon achieved something difficult, making the Wayans name feel familiar without ever seeming like an imitation. Kurt Russell grew from a Disney favorite into one of Hollywood's most enduring leading men, remembered for his rugged charm and effortless screen presence. His youngest biological child, Wyatt Russell, first pursued professional hockey before turning to acting. Now 40, with The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, Wyatt has found real momentum, though Kurt's decades of beloved stardom remain difficult to overtake. Gary Busey became one of Hollywood's most unmistakable personalities, bringing raw intensity and unpredictable energy to memorable roles across decades of cinema. His eldest child, Jake Busey, inherited that striking presence while forging his own path through acting and music. Now 55, remembered for Starship Troopers and The Frighteners, Jake has enjoyed lasting recognition, but his father remains the more iconic Busey for generations of moviegoers. Henry Fonda represented the quiet dignity of classic Hollywood, his unforgettable performances making him one of the defining actors of his generation. His eldest child, Jane Fonda, transformed that remarkable inheritance into a legendary career of her own. Now 88, the two-time Oscar winner and activist has remained culturally relevant for decades. Choosing the bigger Fonda may be impossible. Father and daughter simply conquered different Hollywood eras. George C. Scott commanded the screen with extraordinary force, forever remembered for his Oscar-winning portrayal of General Patton and his uncompromising approach to acting. His sixth child, Campbell Scott, followed him into film with a considerably quieter style. Now 65, Campbell has built a respected career through acting, directing, and producing, proving that lasting success doesn't always require matching a father's larger-than-life legend. Gregory Peck embodied the grace and moral strength of Hollywood's golden age, becoming unforgettable to generations through classics like To Kill a Mockingbird. His youngest child, Cecilia Peck, chose storytelling both before and behind the camera. Now 68, she has become an accomplished documentary director and producer. Gregory remains the towering star, but Cecilia turned an extraordinary Hollywood inheritance towards stories that mattered deeply to her. Arnold Schwarzenegger became a global phenomenon, transforming bodybuilding fame into blockbuster stardom through larger-than-life charisma and unforgettable action roles. His third child, Patrick Schwarzenegger, chose acting while building interests in modeling and business. Now 32, his acclaimed turn in The White Lotus brought fresh attention to his talent. Arnold remains the bigger icon, but Patrick's Hollywood story suddenly feels far more interesting. Katherine Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger's eldest child, chose a world far removed from explosions, action movies, and her father's larger-than-life screen image. Now 36, she has established herself as an author, writing books including The Gift of Forgiveness and Rock What You've Got. Her fame may never rival Arnold's, but Katherine shows that carrying a legendary surname doesn't mean chasing the same spotlight. Christopher Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger's fourth child, has taken perhaps the quietest creative route in a family surrounded by fame. Now 28, he has explored work behind the scenes as a producer rather than pursuing his father's action star image. While Arnold once commanded movie screens around the world, Christopher appears content building his own identity where audiences may never even see his face. Joseph Baena, Arnold Schwarzenegger's youngest child, carries a resemblance to his famous father that longtime fans can hardly miss. Now 28, he has embraced fitness while exploring acting and real estate, appearing in Chariot and Dancing with the Stars. The comparisons with Arnold are inevitable, but matching one of Hollywood's greatest action careers is a challenge almost no second generation could easily overcome. Jim Hutton found television fame through Ellery Queen and brought warmth and understated charm to a career cut tragically short at only 45. His eldest child, Timothy Hutton, carried the family talent forward with extraordinary results. Now 65, Timothy remains remembered for Ordinary People, which made him the youngest Best Supporting Actor Oscar winner, a remarkable case where the son ultimately reached heights his father never had time to pursue. Claude Jarman Jr. captured hearts as a child star in The Yearling, earning a Special Academy Award before eventually leaving Hollywood's spotlight behind. His daughter Vanessa Getty chose an entirely different kind of public life. Now in her early 50s, she is known for philanthropy, modeling, and arts advocacy, showing that a famous Hollywood inheritance can create influence without ever chasing movie stardom. John Carradine became one of classic Hollywood's great character actors, appearing across hundreds of productions and creating an extraordinary theatrical family legacy. His youngest son, Robert Carradine, carried that tradition into a new generation. Best remembered for Revenge of the Nerds and Lizzie McGuire, Robert remained familiar to audiences for decades before his death in 2026 at 71, extending the Carradine name far beyond his father's era. David Carradine, John Carradine's second son, transformed the family name into something unmistakably his own. His mysterious presence in Kung Fu made him a 1970s television icon, while Kill Bill introduced him to another generation decades later. He died in 2009 at 72, leaving behind a career so distinctive that choosing between father and son depends greatly on which Hollywood era you remember. Keith Carradine, John Carradine's fourth son, inherited the family's dramatic talent but added music and a gentler screen presence to the Carradine legacy. Now 77, his acclaimed work in Nashville and The Long Riders reflects a career stretching across decades. John may have founded the dynasty, yet Keith proved there was never just one way for a Carradine to become memorable. Clint Eastwood became more than a movie star. His quiet toughness and unmistakable presence helped define American cinema for generations. His seventh child, Francesca Eastwood, followed the family into entertainment through acting, modeling, and television. Now 33, with films including Outlaws and Angels and MFA, she continues building her own path, though surpassing her father's monumental Hollywood stature remains an almost impossible comparison. Carl Reiner became one of American comedy's great architects, shaping television and film with wit that entertained generations. His eldest child, Rob Reiner, turned that inheritance into an extraordinary directing career. Before his death in 2025 at 78, Rob gave audiences When Harry Met Sally and A Few Good Men, making the question of which Reiner left the bigger cultural mark wonderfully difficult to answer. Annie Reiner, Carl Reiner's second child, chose a quieter creative world than her celebrated father and brother. Now in her late 70s, she has expressed herself through visual art, writing, and playwriting, including The Other Side of the Moon. Her name may never have filled movie marquees, but her journey reveals how one remarkably creative family found very different ways to tell stories. John Travolta became an unforgettable symbol of a generation, from the dance floors of Saturday Night Fever and Grease to decades of Hollywood reinvention. His second child, Ella Blue Travolta, followed him into acting while also pursuing music. Now 26, she is still at the beginning of her journey, carrying a beloved surname while facing the enormous challenge of following a father whose fame became cultural history. John Huston helped define classic Hollywood as an Oscar-winning director whose films became landmarks of American cinema. His second child, Tony Huston, inherited the family's storytelling instinct through screenwriting and acting. Now 76, he remains especially remembered for his Oscar-nominated screenplay For the Dead, directed by his father, a deeply fitting collaboration between two generations of one extraordinary filmmaking family. Angelica Huston, John Huston's third child, didn't merely inherit a legendary Hollywood surname, she built a formidable reputation of her own. Now 75, the Oscar-winning actress remains unforgettable for Prizzi's Honor and the Addams Family. Her father was one of cinema's great directors, yet Angelica became an icon before the camera, making the Huston comparison less about who was bigger than how brilliantly both endured. Downey Huston, John Huston's fourth child, carried the family tradition into another era with an understated intensity distinctly different from his father's commanding directorial presence. Now 64, he has built a wide-ranging career as an actor, director, and writer, appearing in The Aviator and The Constant Gardener. John remains the towering legend, but Downey has ensured the Huston name never disappeared from the screen. Allegra Huston, John Huston's youngest child, found her strongest voice not through acting but through words, editing, and deeply personal storytelling. Now 61, she is known for Love Child, a memoir of family lost and found, and the film Say My Name. In a dynasty filled with celebrated filmmakers and actors, Allegra chose something more intimate, telling the complicated story behind the famous name. Jerry Stiller became one of television comedy's most unforgettable personalities, his explosive humor and impeccable timing delighting audiences for generations. His eldest child, Amy Stiller, followed the family into comedy and acting. Now 65, with appearances in The King of Queens and Inside Amy Schumer, she has maintained a quieter career, while Jerry's larger-than-life comic presence remains the family benchmark she never seemed interested in chasing. Eugene Levy spent decades perfecting his wonderfully understated comedy before Schitt's Creek introduced his brilliance to an entirely new generation. His eldest child, Dan Levy, turned that family gift into a remarkable creative triumph. Now 43, the actor, writer, producer, and director has become a major talent in his own right. Here, choosing the bigger Levy may be beside the point. They created their greatest success together. Nick Clooney enjoyed a respected career in television and journalism, becoming a familiar face to American audiences long before another Clooney conquered Hollywood. His youngest child, George Clooney, transformed the family name into global stardom. Now 65, the Ocean's 11 and Syriana star became an Oscar-winning actor, director, and producer. Few family comparisons are clearer. The son ultimately reached a level of fame known around the world. James Brolin built an enduring career through rugged charisma and decades of memorable work across television and film. His eldest child, Josh Brolin, inherited that commanding presence and eventually became a formidable star himself. Now 58, performances in No Country for Old Men and Avengers. Infinity War brought him worldwide recognition. For longtime viewers, deciding which Brolin became bigger may depend entirely on the generation watching. Donald Sutherland possessed a presence audiences never forgot, building a remarkable career that stretched from MASH to the Hunger Games across more than half a century. His fourth child, Rossif Sutherland, also chose acting. Now 47, with Murder in a Small Town and Three Pines among his recent work, Rossif continues the family tradition, though his father's extraordinary cinematic legacy remains an imposing standard to follow. Angus Sutherland, Donald Sutherland's youngest child, took a less visible route through Hollywood, working as both an actor and producer. Now 43, his credits include projects such as 1917 and November Criminals, but celebrity has never defined his career. Compared with Donald's towering international reputation, Angus represents another side of Hollywood inheritance, contributing to movies without needing to become the face audiences remember. Reg Sutherland, Donald Sutherland's third child, found his place in Hollywood without stepping in front of the camera. Now 52, he has built a prominent career as a talent agent, working in media finance and film packaging at Creative Artists Agency. His father became famous by appearing in unforgettable films. Reg instead helps shape which films reach the screen, a very different kind of Hollywood influence. Dustin Hoffman transformed himself from an unlikely leading man into one of the defining actors of modern American cinema, delivering performances audiences still remember decades later. His third child, Jake Hoffman, followed him into acting and directing. Now 45, with The Wolf of Wall Street and Sam and Kate among his credits, Jake has built a respectable path, but Dustin's legendary body of work remains an extraordinarily difficult act to surpass. Don Johnson became the embodiment of 1980s television cool, with Miami Vice turning his effortless swagger into an image millions still remember. His second child, Dakota Johnson, followed him into acting but built a distinctly different screen identity. Now 36, the 50 Shades of Grey and The Lost Daughter star has achieved worldwide recognition, making the question of which Johnson commands greater fame surprisingly difficult. William Shatner became forever linked with Captain Kirk, turning Star Trek into the foundation of a remarkable career spanning more than 7 decades. His youngest child, Melanie Shatner, also entered acting. Now 62, she is remembered for Subspecies and an appearance in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Melanie shared part of her father's universe, but William's place in popular culture remains virtually impossible to eclipse. Jeremy Irons captivated audiences with his commanding voice, elegant presence, and remarkable ability to move between prestige drama and major Hollywood productions. His youngest child, Max Irons, inherited the family's screen appeal while building his own career. Now 40, known for The White Queen and Condor, Max has earned recognition on his own terms, though Jeremy's Oscar-winning legacy still casts the longer cinematic shadow. Tom Cruise has spent decades doing what few movie stars ever manage, remaining a global box office force while generations of Hollywood changed around him. His second child, Connor Cruise, briefly explored acting before moving toward DJing and a quieter life. Now 31, Connor has followed his own interests rather than his father's extraordinary trajectory. In this comparison, Tom's worldwide superstardom remains in a category of its own. Joel Grey became a stage and screen legend, with his unforgettable Oscar-winning performance in Cabaret securing his place in entertainment history. His youngest child, Jennifer Grey, created a cultural phenomenon of her own. Now 66, she remains forever associated with Dirty Dancing and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Father and daughter produced defining performances, and choosing the bigger Grey may depend entirely on which memory still makes you smile. Will Smith conquered music, television, and movies, becoming one of the most recognizable entertainers of his generation. His eldest child, Trey Smith, chose a far quieter path through DJing and occasional acting. Now 33, with credits including All of Us and The Speech, Trey has largely avoided competing with his father's enormous celebrity, showing that sometimes a famous child simply chooses not to chase the same kind of fame. James Caan brought unforgettable toughness and vulnerability to The Godfather, creating a performance that became part of Hollywood history. His second child, Scott Caan, inherited that rugged screen presence while establishing a lasting career of his own. Now 49, known for Hawaii 5-0 and Ocean's 11, Scott has become highly recognizable, but for generations who remember Sonny Corleone, his father's shadow remains especially powerful. Jon Voight became an Oscar-winning star through emotionally powerful performances that established him among Hollywood's most respected actors. His youngest child, Angelina Jolie, took that remarkable inheritance onto an even larger global stage. Now 51, the Oscar-winning actress, filmmaker, and humanitarian is recognized around the world. Few comparisons in this video feel clearer. The daughter ultimately transformed an already famous family name into something even bigger. Looking back at these remarkable families reminds us that Hollywood fame can pass from one generation to another, but never in quite the same way. Some children spent their lives beneath enormous shadows. Others stepped forward and created legends even greater than the names they inherited. Yet perhaps the real beauty lies in remembering both generations and the different eras they gave us. Which child surprised you most, and who became the bigger star? Thank you for watching Echoes of Hollywood.